discussions and researches that have happened in this field, and which are so very important for all of us, right? The topic that we're discussing today are so important for our everyday life. It could be, leaves, special leaves that a woman needs, or, any other aspect of women's life. But what I'm going to talk today about is very, very different from all of these discussions. These being important, there is one aspect that I would like to bring out today is consciousness shift for gender neutrality. As you're aware, gender neutrality is something which is so much talked about today, right? So if we talk about policies, we talk about laws, we talk about language, everything we are emphasizing that it becomes gender neutral. For example, instead of saying, he or a she, we address somebody as they. So then, the language becomes neutral. This is what, even corporates and other institutions, everybody is emphasizing today on. But is that enough? Is the question that I have. We are talking about everything which is external, which needs to be changed. Important, yes, but there is something which is so much more deeper. And that is what I would want to kind of bring out it through this forum today. And for that, what I want you to do is, as we start that discussion, I want you to completely relax, be with yourself for a couple of moments. So if you're doing something, if you're in middle of something along with this presentation, you could just leave that aside for a couple of moments. Little time for your own self. Away from everything outside. You bring your attention to yourself and imagine a paint brush in your hand. A paint brush with white shining color on it. You paint yourself from your head to your toe with that white shining light. You feel very, very relaxed, very comfortable. And now, in this state of mind, say to yourself, I am open for some new learnings. I am open for some new perspectives. So why this little check-in exercise is because we are completely moving into a different dimension that we're going to talk about, which is consciousness shift, right? We do make changes in our language, in our policies, in our laws, everything. But how about the beliefs and attitudes that we carry? From childhood, a girl child is expected to be in a certain way, which is different from a boy child. So, and these attitudes and beliefs are actually developed in those ages is what all of us are aware. So now today, when we are talking about changes at an external level, how about changes at an attitudinal level? When we look at a person, can we look at the person not with a vision or a glass of men or a woman? Can we look at the other person as a being, as a human being as a whole, and not just the body or the gender? But that requires a little deeper work, right? Because it's something which is so deep. It's about our belief about how genders work, how life works overall. Now, if we talk about physical body, of course we are different, right? A male body is different, women body is different, and they're always going to be different. Their capacities, their power, all of that is going to be different, which is what nature has provided us with. And we're not contesting that. We're okay with that, right? But what we're only talking about when we say consciousness shift is our attitude towards looking at that other person. And how do we bring about that shift? Because in spite of bringing about those external changes which are important, but if the attitudinal change and the beliefs about, let's say if I talk about myself, if my belief about myself is okay, because I'm a woman, I can do a certain role, I can't do a certain role, if I'm operating out of that belief, definitely my body is going to respond in the same way. Yeah. So somewhere if our attitudes and beliefs of looking at ourselves and others is not changed, any amount of external change may or may not be so much helpful. Yeah. Consciousness shift is basically, let's say if there is a gift that somebody gives you, okay, and they say that it's very precious, it's very rare, it's very precious that I'm gifting to you, you pick that up, you look at it very lovingly because you know it's very rare and precious, you open up the cover. Inside that cover there is another cover, so you open up the another gift wrap or the cover that's there, and you keep opening one after other. Okay. And within those layers of cover that you see is a beautiful gem or a diamond inside, wrapped inside that wonderful box. Yeah, it's exactly like that. Each cover that we are uncovering, language, policies, laws, and so many other things that we are changing, those are all covers that we are kind of unwrapping. But what is really needed is bringing out that gem. And that gem is who we are. We're a life force beneath the body, right? We're not just the body, but we are much more than the body, which is the life force. Now this life force is not men or a women. Life force is life force, right? It's an energy, it's the being that we're talking. When we say human and being, it's basically that being that we're talking about. Human is made up of, word humus, which is the body, soil. Yeah. So beneath this body of soil resides that being. And when we start operating out of that consciousness that we are being and not just the body, we are that being, that life force, that energy, is when that attitudinal shift happens, is when that belief system shifts. Why? Because this being or this energy has masculine qualities as well as feminine qualities. If you would have read some books or some movies that you might have seen where they talk about past life regression, there are a lot of psychologists, a lot of research that is being done on in that field. When we look at some of those research, what it typically talks about is, before this birth, we'd also some other birth. Yeah. And before, in that birth, we could either be a male or a female. It's not necessary that if I'm a woman this birth, not necessarily I'll be a woman in previous birth also. So we do shift between men and women, the birth that we take. Yeah. The energy, the being that we are, it keeps shifting between the genders. Yeah. So we do have these masculine qualities, we do have these feminine qualities. Feminine qualities could be love, compassion. Masculine qualities could be courage, power, all of these things, and we are a combination of these qualities. When we take the body, what we actually do is we start operating from one of these qualities. We either operate out of feminine qualities or masculine qualities, depending on the kind of environment that we operate out of, the kind of belief systems we are ingrained with through the messages from outside world, and we start using those qualities more. But today, if we look at our lives, not necessarily a woman is expected to be, operate in only certain environment. You're working, you're also, you're taking care of the house. So it requires both of these qualities. It requires masculine qualities of achievement, of power, of courage. It requires feminine qualities of being able to take care of, people around, being able to love, being able to forgive. All of these qualities are equally required. Yeah. So somewhere understanding that we are that conscient energy, or that so life force which has both of these, and that's exactly same for the other person whom we are interacting. When this shift happens, chances are, we are working not only on the covers, that gift wrap. We're not working on that, we're actually working on something which is so much more deeper. We're working on our attitudes and our beliefs. But this needs to be practiced in everyday life to bring about that neutrality or that equality or equity, if I could put it that way. Equity in the way we kind of, operate. Yeah, so that's what consciousness shift is all about. Very recently I've also written a book called Conscious Living, which is more aware living, where I'm talking about, our attitudes and beliefs, and how do we bring about that attitudinal shift which helps us live life which is so simple and so beautiful and so intense. Yeah, so consciousness is, when we talk about consciousness, we are working on something which is very, very deep and not just the external aspect. Of course, that's important, but till we go much deeper, overall change, the change that we want to have in our society may be a bit difficult. On that note, let's take last 2 minutes. I think we have a couple of minutes left, maybe a 2 minutes left, I believe. So let's spend those 2 minutes to actually experience that consciousness shift for ourselves. When we start doing for ourselves, okay, I look at myself not with the lens of a man or a woman, but I look at myself as a life force, as a power, as an energy. What it only does is it brings my consciousness level to a very higher level. And when I'm radiating that kind of energy, chances are that everyone around me starts operating from that mode also, because I'm sending out the right energy. I'm not sending out an energy saying that, okay, I'm a woman, I need to be treated in a certain way, or I'm weak. When I'm operating out of that consciousness, the energy that gets radiated is in that way. The response of energy from the other person is also in the same way. Yeah, so today through this forum, what I'm trying to emphasize is, let's bring about that consciousness shift in ourselves. Let's kind of raise our consciousness to a very high level, so then we radiate the right kind of energy. And of course, it always starts with one. So why not today? Why not all of us here in this forum? And I'm sure collectively together we can bring about a lot of change in our society, in our country, or the world together. Yeah. On that note, once again, let's spend few moments with ourselves. Little time for your own self. Away from everything outside. This body is only a cover, a gift wrap that is gifted to me through the nature. I respect and I appreciate the cover which I have received. This cover could be of men or a woman. But today, let's reach out and experience the life force, the energy that operates through this body. Become aware of yourself, the gem, the diamond, which is beneath the cover. A constant point of light that operates this body. For few moments, let us move beyond the awareness of the body and raise our consciousness to a higher level which is beyond the physical. A point of light, a conscient energy. Let us experience that fully and completely. very, very relaxed, very comfortable. I awaken the masculine as well as feminine qualities within me. I can feel a beautiful balance of power and compassion. This is who I am beneath the body. I look at others around me with same awareness and consciousness. Very, very relaxed, very comfortable. So, thank you everyone for this patient hearing. Thank you for inviting me for in this forum to share my views and my perspective on how we could actually bring about that shift in the way women equality and neutrality works. It was wonderful being a part of this forum. Thank you so much.
It was so lovely and such a pleasure. Thank you for being here, ma'am. Uh, it was very good and inspiring and very soothing session. Thank you for doing this and broadening our minds. Thank you very much.